Glenn Seaton continues to lead from George Fury with Jimmy Richards in third. We'll update you on the time between those two very shortly as we have reached lap 21 of 50 in the grand final of the Shell Ultra Australian Touring Car title at Sydney's Oran Park.
Johnson just locks up a brake momentarily going into that corner. Grice all over the rear of the Ford Sierra.
This is the closest he's been, and he's just about, he is in a position to charge down the inside.
Got the good line to the corner, has Grice, and through he goes. Alan Grice picks up one place. Clear air now for Grice.
And an entertaining sight for Dick Johnson.
Yes.
John Bowes just walked into our commentary position and advises that a broken airflow meter was the reason for the demise of car 60, the Peter Jackson Nissan Skyline.
Yes, the car was running superbly in the opening couple of laps of the race. But for the Nissan followers, the better news is, I guess, that no problems have surfaced at this moment for Glenn Seaton or for George Fury.
And the competition are going to find it a bit tough to mount enough pressure on them to cause them any problems the way things are going so far. Still Seaton and Fury up the front of the race ahead of Jim Richards, and then Grice, and Grice is really throwing everything into it here in the Commodore. Glenn Seaton the leader, George Fury in second spot, Jim Richards holding down third with 28 laps remaining in the race. Alan Grice is fourth, Dick Johnson fifth, and Larry Perkins rounds out the top six in the Shell Ultra Australian Touring Car Championship. Coming up on half race distance here in the final round of the Shell Ultra Australian Touring Car Championship and car 15. The Nissan driven by Glenn Seaton, the series leader, continues to lead the race from teammate George Fury. Third place still being held down by Jim Richards. The gap has widened a fraction though. It's no, it's not. It's coming down to 3.82 seconds. Oh, look at that. Weather is about to change here. I think we might be about to get some rain, Mark.
It looks very much that way, according to Frank Van Ries, our chopper pilot, high above Oran Park. There are showers only a couple of minutes away. In fact, a couple of drops already starting to fall at the circuit. That is not good news.
Well, it's good news for Jim Richards because the gap from Seaton back to him was 5.33 seconds. About 4 laps ago, it's now down to 3.8 seconds.
Well, depending how heavy the showers are, they get a downpour, of course. As we understand, you would have the cars pulled to the pit area if the officials would stop the race and restart it. Not at its full length, of course, but if everyone's caught out there in an absolute flood with slick tyres on. But very interesting, though, because we all know that Jim Richards is, in fact, a rain master, and you can see that Richards is gaining now all the time.
Alan Grice has just pulled into the pits, Mike. Sorry to override you there. We saw just a few moments ago the dice between he and Dick Johnson. Grice got past, then Johnson in turn passed him again, and Grice has come into the pits.
There's Alan Grice sitting in the Commodore. We believe in the pit area that BMW team are already running up with wet weather tyres. Grice continues to talk to Les Small and his mechanics. But it would appear that Alan Grice's race is well and truly over. And then you can see, of course, the changing weather in the background. Rear end problem for the Bob Jane T-Mart's Commodore. They gave it one heck of a shot.
Here's a man giving it a heck of a shot too. Colin Bond came off 12th position on the starting grid here this afternoon and has moved up to 7th position rather. Yep, now in 7th spot with Grice pulling off. So the Alpha, which has promised so much this season, is delivering for Colin Bond here this afternoon at Oran Park.
Graham Bowkett just back behind him. Then, of course, Tony Longhurst, the next in line.
Greg Hansford joins us on our 7 Motorsport coverage of the grand finale here at Oran Park this afternoon. Sad way to have to go out of a motor race the way you went out lap 1.
It was a bit scary, Gary, from where I was sitting because I wasn't very close to the ground, but I don't know what happened on the first lap. Someone hit me that hard up the back that I think it shortened the car by about 6 inches, but got underway again. It didn't feel very good, so I kept going, but I ended up hitting, I think it was John Crook and Peter Brox on the Commodore.
Well, this is going to throw a real cat among the pigeons if it starts to bucket down. I don't think it's going to bucket down. I mean, it just might get persistent rain, though, and if they have to change to slicks, the whole complexion of this race could change in a matter of minutes.
It'd be far better if it did bucket down, because it'd be a lot safer for everyone out there. Or then they would just go onto wet weather tyres, and if it rains on half of the circuit or just dampens the circuit, that'll make it more slippery than it could ever be at any other time.
Sitting right in behind Colin Bond, of course, is Tony Longhurst, and as you can see, as we take race cam from the flight deck of Glenn Seaton's Peter Jackson Skyline, beads of water on the windscreen. He continues to lead the grand final of the Shell Ultra Touring Car Nationals. Second spot held down by George Fury, who's getting ready for a real race on his hands now, and closing on them is the man who needs to win this race to pick up the points and take the title, and that's Jimmy Richards in the JPS BMW M3.
Well, the gap first to third is negligible now, but the big thing is the man sandwiched between Seaton and Richards is Seaton's teammate George Fury. And he'll be doing his best to make this track as narrow as possible for Jim Richards.
Of course, the talking point of most conversations in practice this weekend here at Oran Park has been just how well the M3 sits on the road. Where on the other hand, the Nissans have certainly plenty of grunt, Greg, but are not as tidy.
No, the BMW just they'll do this lap after lap after lap, and you'll find Jim will be able to be as neat and as tidy as he is there now, as well as the last lap. But I'm sure when Jim gets up behind George and George holds him up a little bit, Jim's not going to take any nonsense, I can assure you of that.
Well, there's plenty at stake here this afternoon, and the way they stand on the track at the moment with 22 laps remaining in the finale of the Shell Ultra Touring Car Championship. Seaton leads Fury with Richards in third place. Fourth spot on the racetrack held down by Dick Johnson, then Larry Perkins and Andrew Madecki.
At Oran Park Raceway, the grand final of the Shell Ultra High Touring Car Nationals continues. 22-year-old Glenn Seaton in the Peter Jackson Nissan Skyline leads teammate George Fury. Jim Richards runs in third. The positions have not changed, and nor has the wet weather.
Light but persistent rain coming down now, and it's about decision time, I think, for some of these drivers regarding a tyre change.